Nothing.
Yeah.
So
Wear sunglasses.
I liked it. Okay. A lot of people were annoyed because he doesn't apparently look like how Jack Reacher's described in the book.
Oh, who cares? It's a movie interpretation.
Big, tall, muscular guy with long blonde hair and cruises. None of those things. Well, I suppose he's muscular.
I haven't really looked.
Okay. Flamboyant. But you're like the first one, so I'm not particularly upset that he's going to make a sequel.
So you'd be happy, you're looking forward to seeing a sequel?
Yeah, I would go and see a sequel.
Fair enough.
I would go and see a sequel. The first one was quite good. What else have we got? I've been so out of tune this week. James Wan, of course, we talked last week about the death of Paul Walker.
Very tragic it was too.
Strange thing about Paul Walker, right? Here's the thing, and this is, no disrespect to the man, I never really rated him as an actor, but it's kind of one of those things you don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yeah, you don't miss the water till the well runs dry.
Yeah, and what I did was last weekend I decided I was going to try and get through all six Spider-Man, all six Fast and Furious movies.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know, I was still thinking of the Spider-Man story.
Okay.
And I got through four of them. And it was only on watching the first four movies that I realised, well, Tokyo Drift obviously not, but it's very much Paul Walker's character, Conor O'Brien's story. It's told through he's kind of the C-3PO of the Fast and Furious movies. It's told through his eyes.
Yeah. Is that Brian O'Connor?
Huh? That's what I said.
You said Conor O'Brien.
Brian O'Connor, sorry. I need to go. Phil has broken me.
Yeah, he really has.
Phil has
It's like he's the Bane to your Batman.
Yeah, my psyche is in a corner right now going, hee hee hee, Skype.
bit of Joker there as well.
Yeah. But obviously Universal said that they didn't know what they were going to do, how they were going to go forward with the movies. The cast are very much upset. And you know what? There was a great feeling of camaraderie with the cast. And if you actually watch the making of the movies, which I did watch, it's true. It does seem to be genuine. They all really seem to have got on. There was a great family feeling, that these guys did hang around together. They had a lot of fun on set. So obviously whenever he died, it hit them a lot harder. But now James Wan, who of course directed...
Saw, was it?
No, not
No,
Saw.
okay.
Is it Insidious? Insidious.
Yes.
Directed Insidious, who's directing Fast and Furious 7, which Paul Walker was filming when he died. He has said that no, it is going to go ahead. But the cast need time. Things are feel very...
Did not come out earlier in the week as well that they're thinking of just maybe scrapping it and starting from scratch?
I'd heard that too. Yeah. So,
But it's, in other words, it's definitely not going to be out next summer.
No. But
Right,
it is going to come out. And you know what? I know it's a cliche thing to say, but I'm pretty sure Paul Walker would want them to keep making the movie.
Of course he would, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because, just because he's gone doesn't mean a lot of the other actors can't still hang out and make fun movies and have the fans still enjoy their stories.
Yeah, and having watched Tokyo Drift and the other movies at the weekend, I really want to see the seventh movie. I really want to see where this story goes next. And so, I think... The funny thing is, if they hadn't have included that little scene at the end of Fast and Furious 6 that ties into Tokyo Drift, which introduced, spoiler alert, Jason Statham's character, then it actually was it would have been a nice tie-up.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, the only thing really that happens is that Han goes to Japan, and then we know what happens to Han in Tokyo Drift. There was never any suggestion that someone else murdered Han. He just looked like he died in a car crash. So it would have been a nice end to the story. But that little teaser that they put in, now I need to see this movie now. I really need to see this movie. So that's going to go ahead, but as you said, it's unlikely we're going to see it in the next year or so. Okay, Jason Momoa. Is apparently in talks for Batman vs Superman.
Lovely.
Do you know who he is?
He's that bloke off of Conan, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was in Game of Thrones.
Right.
In fairness, the only thing he brings to the table is he's huge and muscular.
Okay.
Which means a lot of people are thinking Doomsday.
Right.
But I don't know. I can imagine they'll do Doomsday like a giant CGI. I can't see a person being Doomsday.
Yeah, because Doomsday's big. Like he's a big guy.
He is a big guy. But yeah, so Momoa we know he is in talks for the Batman's sequel. But who he is going to be, we don't know.
Would they take on Doomsday though?
Well, Doomsday has been hinted at already.
I know, but in Batman vs Superman?
No, I think they would do with Doomsday something similar to what they're doing with Thanos. I think he could be more further down the line. Because there's talk of Brainiac and there's talk of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, we've never really talked about this because we've talked about the whole like who's going to be Wonder Woman and is the Flash going to be in it? Blah blah blah. Who's the bad guy in Batman vs Superman? Who would you like to see as the bad guy in Batman vs Superman? Who, in your mind, because you're a big comic book fan, you're the big DC fan. Who do you think is the ideal villain for Batman and Superman to team up to fight against?
You see, To me, it has to be. I think they need to go down the route where they fight like the Joker and Lex Luthor, or Ra's al Ghul. I'd love to see the Ra's al Ghul in this universe.
Yeah.
Because I know Superman's an alien, and we've had the whole alien story. I think you need a bit of time before you start introducing characters like Clayface or Killer Croc or Brainiac or these kind of characters. I still think that they need to follow the Marvel route where you get the realistic characters gently breaking in the absolutely boogaloo characters.
Yeah.
I want to see them. I think they exist in this universe. I'm looking forward to seeing them. But I think the Joker and Lex Luthor would be a good way to go. I know it's obvious because it's the world's finest and everything else, but it works for a reason. It works for a reason. But yeah. But apparently Brainiac's going to be a big part of this. They're going to tie that in. And Lex Luthor. That's apparently the direction it's going to go in. And we know Wonder Woman's going to be in it, Superman's going to be in it, Batman's going to be in it, Flash is rumoured.
It's heavily rumoured to be in it, yeah. There's talk of Martian Manhunter as well.
Yeah, which is, again, another character that Jason Momoa's been attached to playing.
Yeah.
Nightwing is heavily rumoured as well, but whether or not he'll be an actual superhero or he'll just be sort of the character of Dick Grayson, we don't know. And of course, there's the Gotham TV series, because now
Gotham PD,
the Gotham PD TV series,
who are looking for a young Bruce Wayne.
They're looking for like a 10-year-old Bruce Wayne, because apparently the series is going to look into the murder of his parents. It's going to be about a young.
I think we'll have
Captain
Joe
Gordon.
Chill as a major bad guy. Yeah,
it would have to be. And apparently it's going to set up some of the more better known Bat villains. Although where they would exist in this universe, if Batman's only 10 years old, I'm not really sure. Yeah,
because Batman was always about escalation, wasn't it?
I mean,
because obviously Gotham was always just full of crime and corruption.
Yeah.
And then Batman comes along and takes them all out. And then the next wave kind of comes on and goes, right, okay, well, we'll have a taste for the theatrics. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I loved about Batman Begins was that whenever they destroyed, I'm thinking of the Glades because of Arrow. What did you call it? The
Narrows.
The Narrows. It was a really good idea. They put this fear toxin out, and it just escalated things to the nth degree, where everybody went boogaloo, and out of that some of Batman's villains. Kind of like what they're doing with Amazing Spider-Man, where Oscorp is going to be the cause of most of Spider-Man's villains.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. That makes sense in a weird kind of, I know a lot of the comic book purists might think, well, why would they all come from one place? But it kind of makes sense. In the movies, sometimes you have to explain it for the newbies. And I like that idea. But this Gotham PD series, I'm excited for a Batman TV series, but I don't know if this is,
No, for me, it kind of feels like DC going like, oh, Marvel have dominated the cinema and now they're dominating TV series as well. We need to do something. People like cop dramas, right? Gotham PD. Go.
That'll do. Make it like The Shield with Batman at some point. Joe Cornish is not in the mix anymore for Star Trek 3.
No.
Bryan Singer. A lot of talk about Bryan Singer's Apocalypse tweet. Still very little known. He said that Apocalypse won't be an alien in it.
Yeah, it won't be an alien, and it's set for 2016. He says he's going to be directing it. Now, take that with a pinch of salt.
Yes, because
he said he was going to be directing First Class, and then all of a sudden, oh, hello, there's Matthew Vaughn. So, take that with a pinch of salt. Apparently, it's going to focus on the First Class generation more than the X-Men trilogy generation.
Okay.
Because obviously, Days of
that.
Future Past is quite the mashup between the old generation and the new generation. This one is going to be more of a sequel to First Class and Days of Future Past.
Yeah, and I think that's fair enough. Because I'm a big fan of First Class. It's actually probably my favorite X-Men movie.
Yeah, no, I love it. I was actually watching it again recently. It works so well as a period piece.
Yeah,
and it works so well as an action movie. It's a very restrained action movie. Mm-hmm. So when you get to the point where Magneto's raising the submarine or holding back all the missiles, had that been in a big summer tentpole movie, usually people would go, really, is that it? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm expecting, Man of Steel smashing up an entire city, sort of levels of destruction. But the way that it's set up and the way it's handled in First Class, you get that sense of emotion where Magneto's raising the submarine because it's established so well before where he turns the satellite dish. Yeah. It's such a smaller and more intimate movie, and it's all the better for it.
It feels like a James Bond movie.
Especially with Fassbender at the start.
Yeah, it feels like a James Bond movie.
Yeah, because he could really pass for Sean Connery.
Yeah, he's super.
Like, especially, there's one scene in particular where he's about to ambush Kevin Bacon's character, and you see him in the water.
Yeah.
And he climbs up onto the ship, and he's all in black with does he have like a knife in his mouth or something?
I don't know if he does, but I haven't seen it.
Like he climbs up, and like there's a scene where he like does this thing where he jumps over. Where he jumps over the top of the boat, and then he's like sneaking up to ambush Kevin Bacon, and it's like I can see Sean Connery doing that.
That's a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
That's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to Days of Future Past. But I've got this awful feeling in my gut that it's going to be awful.
It's going to suck. Yeah,
I've got this terrible feeling that it's too much. It's too ambitious.
Well, it's the same as your Doctor Who kind of theory. Then, like if you go in going, this is going to be terrible, you're going to love it.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Right, okay. Amy Adams said she would rather not be involved in a love triangle in Batman versus Superman. Easy.
Why would she be?
What she means is she's afraid that Wonder Woman's going to be written in as a romantic interest.
Right.
You know, because in the comics, Superman and Wonder Woman do have, feelings for each other, and occasionally Lois Lane comes into all this. I think what she's basically saying is she doesn't want it to be that movie.
Alrighty.
Which is fair enough.
Would we want it to be that movie?
No. I don't think so.
No.
Would you?
I don't know.
Wow. Complete indifference.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not really a big DC fan. I mean, I do love me some Amy Adams, and what do you call her? Gal Gadot?
Yes,
is it?
Gal Gadot. Yeah.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot,
yeah, Gal Gadot. The two of them in a bit of a catfight over Henry Cavill. It wouldn't be the worst thing.
No, not if you're Henry Cavill, but for the audience, it's just banging your head off the seat. Yeah. Right, Terminator. We talked about Terminator on. Apparently, it's going to tie into a TV series as well that'll run alongside it. Oversaturation. Please stop copying the Marvel thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because apparently the idea behind this TV series is that it's going to take a moment from the first movie, and where the new trilogy goes in one direction with it, the TV series will take it into a completely different direction, and then it'll skewer off and intertwine with the film series, and I just can't be bothered. I mean, I'm struggling to come to terms with the fact that two movies that I adored growing up as a kid and as a teenager are being continuously mined for future movies. And I thought the Sarah Connor Chronicles was okay in a daft sort of way, and now we're talking about another TV series that ties in with a new series of movies, and leave it alone.
It's been officially confirmed now that Drew Goddard is going to be looking after the Daredevil Netflix series. We talked about Cloverfield earlier on. Drew Goddard, of course, man behind Cabin in the Woods, along with Joss Whedon.
Yep.
I think this is.
He's worked on Buffy and Angel as well.
Yeah, of course. A big collaborator with Joss Whedon. I think this could be good.
Yeah,
I think this could be really good.
Well, you know my viewpoint on it. Like, it's kind of like the Law and Order thing mixed with Arrow.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Yeah, so do I. Now, let's talk a wee bit briefly as well about Marvel TV. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reached an all-time series low this week.
It took that long?
Which although it was still the highest rated show on its time slot, but it's just dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. Are you still watching it?
Not really. I think the last one I watched was the one that was supposed to cross over with Thor, except it didn't.
No.
And had Janos Poha in it.
Yeah. There has been a few since that. You know what? Here's the thing. It's not bad. It's just not good.
It's cardboard.
It's boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring. The characters are so boring. They're so bland.
It's so generic.
Even, what do you call him? Agent...
Carter.
Yeah, no.
Agent David Boreanaz, yeah.
No, that was in all the other movies. My head's completely fried.
Oh, Phil Coulson.
Coulson.
Yeah.
God, how did I forget that? Nerd credentials down the drain. He's so bland in it.
Yeah, he is.
And the characters are so,
That's the worst part. Like, like when Coulson shows up in the movies and even in the Avengers, he's a badass.
Yeah.
Like even the Marvel one-shot short that was with Captain America, I think it was, where it's a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer, where he goes to a gas station. There's a gas station robbery. And like he hands these two guys asses to them.
Yeah.
And then like he like puts the two boxes of donuts down and goes, "Sorry, I couldn't decide which ones."
Yeah.
And then like he just walks out.
Yeah.
And badass.
He's suffering from what Boba Fett suffered from in the prequel movies, where he was really cool when he was only there for like a second or two, or he was like
when he was mysterious.
Yeah, and now you're like an hour of him a week, and it's kind of like, really, you're not really that interested.
And he's like, because I think they actually pointed it out in one episode, like he's a changed guy ever since the events of the Avengers. But why change him?
Yeah.
Just leave him as a badass. Leave him as as that guy who looks like he's worked behind a desk for the last 30 years of his life, but could also hand you your backside.
Yes, but now he wants to go out and kill someone. Yeah, but it is bland. It's so bland. And it should work. The two sort of, the two scientists